President Muhammadu Buhari heads to Saudi Arabia for the third edition of the Future Investment Initiative. Solid minerals contribute 52.7 billion naira to the nation's revenue in 2017. Bearish hold persists in the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and this edition of Business Express will focus on the just concluded Russia-Africa Summit. What is in it for Nigeria? This is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital, and I am Benny Adams, your guide. President Muhammadu Buhari is heading to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to attend the third edition of the Future Investment Initiative, organized by Saudi's Public Investment Fund in Riyadh. The president, on the sideline of the event, will hold bilateral talks with His Majesty King Salman and His Majesty King Abdullah II of Jordan. A statement signed by Femi Adesina, special advisor to the president, states that the president will on Wednesday participate in a high-level event titled, "What is Next for Africa? How will investment and trade transform the continent into the next great economic success story?" with presidents of Kenya, Congo-Brazzaville, and Burkina Faso. The solid minerals sector contributed $30 million or 52.7 billion naira to revenue of the Federation in 2017. A 21% increase on the 43.2 billion naira contributed by the sector in 2016. The latest report on the industry, released by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NITI, states that payments to the Federal Inland Revenue Service accounted for 49.1 billion naira, which was about 93% of the total revenue released during the period under review. Payments to the Mines Inspectorate Department, MID, and Mining Cadastral Office amounted to 1.5 billion naira and 2.08 billion naira. NITI, however, stated that except for revenue from MID, there was significant increase in revenue from all other streams in 2017. Last week, representatives from all 54 African states, including 43 heads of states or government, attended the Russia-Africa Summit, which aimed to revive Russia's economic, political, and military relationship with Africa. Olenka Ojo gives us a background of what Nigeria took and got from Sochi.
The Africa-Russia Summit, described as a starting point for building fair partnership between Russia and the African continent, was the first of its kind. It was an opportunity for the African continent to share mutually beneficial ideas with Russia. Looking back, the Nigerian delegation sees the summit as a success story.
It covered a broad range of areas, and what's most impressive to me is that the Russians have also agreed that for many of these things it would be a government-to-government partnership.
The summit is seen as an avenue to further strengthen the robust bond or bilateral ties as Nigeria and Russia agree to expand cooperation in some key sectors of the economy. It gave a ray of hope that a government-to-government understanding will see the completion of the legendary Ajaokuta steel rolling mill.
We have a firm promise, especially from the president of the Russian Federation, that Russia is willing to come in, and of course Ajaokuta will work before Mr. President completes this second term.
You know, steel is a bedrock of industrial development, and once we are able to bring back Ajaokuta on stream, I think Nigeria will spring up and the sky will be the limit.
Not just that, a memorandum of understanding was also signed by the NNPC and Russia's Lukoil.
It's been a particularly rewarding visit for the petroleum sector. I have always said that Russia has a lot of know-how and technology that Nigeria can benefit from. We have the natural resources that Russia can benefit from.
On education, Russia assured that more scholarships will be given to Nigerians. On combating insurgency, another priority security issue at the summit, President Muhammadu Buhari also got a deal for technology upgrade and timely delivery of some attacking helicopters. For many, the summit is believed to open a new chapter in Nigeria-Russia relations towards growth and development.
Dr. Chijoke Ikechukwu, former Director General of the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry, is a seasoned economist. He joins us to examine the outcomes of the Russia-Africa Summit in Sochi. You're welcome to Business Express.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Okay, the message from the African leaders is very clear. The continent needs greater level of investment and want access to markets. Did they get what they wanted?
You could see that Africa is the toast of most developed nations today, and that is why you see a whole lot of business forum taking place between African countries and all these developed nations. And so to that extent, I want to believe that the African countries got what they wanted in this forum. The relationship is obviously a mutually beneficial one, because as you are benefiting from this relationship, Russia is also benefiting.
Sure.
So for Russia and Africa, it's a win-win thing for them to meet. To the extent that countries participate in these things, they also have their various needs. Some countries are participating in this relationship more than others. I know that Egypt has a higher percentage of business relationship with Russia than most of the other countries. In those days, maybe in the 70s or 80s, if you recall that a lot of Nigerians used to go to Russia for scholarship to study medicine, engineering, and all that. But somewhere around the 90s, that reduced. I wouldn't know why, but it was good that we participated in this in order for us to build a better relationship with Russia going forward.
Okay, despite this lapse in the 90s, you understand that Russia and Nigeria has got a deepening relationship, as Putin will put about 93% growth in trade relations between these two countries was kind of recorded in 2018. What does this mean for the trading community of Nigeria?
We can actually, when you look at that percentage was skewed to favor Russia more than in Nigeria. Okay. We need to have a balance of trade to the extent that while Russia is doing business in Nigeria, we also should be doing business in Russia. And a lot of that has to happen when we start exporting most of our products to Russia. So while they're looking for business relationship with Nigeria, we're also looking for that. But we need to get into deeper relationship and deeper negotiation to ensure that we balance the trade between the two countries. Today it's about 85% to 15% for Russia. Yeah. And for us to achieve that, we need to actually make Russia also have need for most of our products, most of our agricultural products, or other products that are produced in Nigeria that they will also need. So in getting into such negotiations, we need to grow the non-oil sector, because when we say export and they sign agreements in oil, we can also grow our non-oil sector using this kind of negotiations and agreements.
Talking about the non-oil sector, we understand that there was this MOU for gas production plants. What's the takeaway for us there?
It is, it's like I said, it's a win-win. We're going to be having a whole lot of our gas exported to them. Of course, you also know that Russia is an oil-producing country, and also while they are having need for our relationship, we also have need for that relationship. We are saying that in all that we're doing, we have to open our eyes very well to ensure that we are benefiting heavily at this stage of negotiation from most of this. But I think it's going to open a lot of our windows for export, I can tell you.
Talking about benefiting much more, we have a major takeaway, which is the Ajaokuta rolling mill, its completion as well as commissioning, hopefully before the end of this tenure. Can we get your thoughts on that in terms of the benefits all around, particularly to the steel subsector?
In my opinion, that's one of the most important benefits of this particular visit.
Okay.
Nigerians who know Ajaokuta steel rolling mill know that we need to get it to work again, considering how long it had taken us from the time it was established to today, and the level of business we would have achieved if that particular place was existing, working. And knowing that that particular place was initially fixed by Russia, it was a Russian company that established that place.
Yes.
So this relationship, if we are able to get that place working again through this relationship, we will say uhuru to Nigeria for this kind of summit that we attended. So I think it's a major one for Nigeria if we get it right this time, so that that place will not continue to waste.
How about value addition? What is the possible value addition, particularly to the steel sector?
Beyond the steel sector, if you imagine the number of people, number of Nigerians that will be employed in that particular steel rolling mill, probably up to half of the Nigerians that are looking for work today could be employed by that particular institution. So if we get that done, we know we have achieved we have reduced our unemployment rate, and then we talk about what we're going to be getting from steel. If we are able to roll out our steel from there, there are many countries that will be requiring our products. And you see that when we're talking about our balance of trade, we're going to be having a good number of exports going on, and we'll earn a lot of foreign currency, sorry.
Science and technology, critical infrastructure. Do you see Russia playing a key role in the fourth industrial revolution for Nigeria?
Yeah. You see, we need to grow industrially and in science and technology. And the way to do this is to have technological transfer into this country. While we are talking about having relationships with developed countries, we need to think about the training of our own manpower, the establishment of most of these factories in Nigeria. Let me give you an example. I have not seen with my two eyes before any automobile that is made in Russia. But they have a lot of automobile companies. So if they can bring their factories in Nigeria to have assembly plants for some of these automobile companies in Nigeria, you are going to see a good number of Nigerian engineers that will just be benefiting from this relationship. And to get this faster, to get the relationship between Nigeria and Russia faster, it will be good and advisable for Russia to have a direct flight coming from Russia to Nigeria, whether Lagos or Abuja, to have that direct flight. And when that direct flight comes, you see that a good number of Nigerians are going to be doing business in Russia, and a good number of Russians are going to be doing business in Nigeria. So having a direct flight from Russia to Nigeria and from Nigeria to Russia is going to actually enhance it. And of course, having a relaxed visa process between the two countries, then you see that our trade relationship with them will grow faster than we expect.
Another request by President Muhammadu Buhari to Vladimir Putin was in area of wheat production. What are the prospects? What prospects do you see for us?
You know, we produce wheat enough.
Good one at that.
Good one, good wheat. And You see, Russia is a highly technological country. If we are not producing enough, their technology can actually enhance the production of wheat. And of course, they can also create a market for us, both in Russia and other places. So the good thing about Mr. President's visit to Russia is the fact that he was specific about what we actually wanted. And of course, we're talking about oil and gas, we're talking about security, we're talking about railroad, we're talking about agriculture. He was very specific about what we wanted, and it was a good thing that the president of Russia agreed to most of these, and of course a lot of MOUs were signed. So I think it's a very good request, and that is going to grow that particular aspect of agriculture.
And most so that it is a government-to-government relationship.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chijioke Ikechukwu, former Director General, Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It's good having you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Moving on. Africa's working population is projected to increase from 705 million to almost 1 billion by 2030, opening a wide jobs gap that must be filled. Onengie Fineface reports that the African Development Bank is recommending bridging the skills gap and addressing skills mismatch as crucial steps towards halting this human capital development concern.
The bank's report on creating decent jobs, strategies, policies, and instruments provides several strategies, relevant policies, and effective instruments that we believe are relevant to the unique challenge of creating millions of decent jobs in Africa.
Therefore, the reality for Nigeria is the need for an urgent reversal of the trend by putting in place and effectively implementing favorable strategies, policies, and instruments to solve the problem in a sustainable manner.
In a report on creating decent jobs presented by the bank in Abuja. The manufacturing PMI of the Central Bank of Nigeria in the month of October stood at 58.2%, indicating expansion in the manufacturing sector for the 31st consecutive month. The index grew at a faster rate when compared to the index in September. 13 of the 14 surveyed subsectors reported growth in the review month. Now, let's see how Naira is performing against major currencies. Let's see how commodities are faring in the local and global markets. Nigerian equities extend losing streak despite earnings. See investors lose 49 billion naira last week. Muplang Dakok tells us more.
A total turnover of 2.051 billion shares worth 16.12 billion naira, traded in 13,508 deals were traded last week by investors. The NSE All-Share Index and market capitalization both depreciated by 0.38% to close the week at 26,348.73 and 12.8 trillion naira. All other indices finished lower with the exception of the NSE Merry Growth Index, which appreciated by 0.19%. The financial services industry measured by volume led the activity chart, with 1.7 billion shares valued at 12.5 billion naira traded in 8,469 deals. The conglomerates industry followed with 98.4 million shares worth 120.7 million naira. The third place was construction and real estate industry. A total of 1,405 units of exchange-traded products valued at 244,462.05 naira were traded in the week in 9 deals, as well as 9,018 units of federal government bonds valued at 9.7 million naira. A summary of price changes shows that 18 equities appreciated in price, 33 equities depreciated in price, while 115 equities remained unchanged.
Meanwhile, at the close of trading this Monday, trading on the equities market ended on a positive note this Monday to begin the week in green. The all-share index gained 0.14% to close at 26,384.45 basis points. Market capitalization closed at 12.8 trillion naira. Investors exchanged 485 volume of shares worth 1.079 billion naira in 3,861 deals. Top trades were recorded by Veritascap, Zenith Bank, and Courtville. The top 3 gainers were CCNN, Flour Mill, and WAPCO. European stocks mix as EU grants Brexit extension. Moplang Dakok has eyes on the global market scene.
Stocks across Africa were mixed. South Africa's JSE Africa Top 40, Kenya's Nairobi All-Share Index and Namibia Overall Index appreciated, while Tunisia's Tun Index and Ghana's JSE Composite Index depreciated. Stocks on the global markets were mostly positive Friday, as European Council President says the bloc has agreed to grant Britain a new Brexit deal to January 31st next year. Downbeat results, however, were recorded in early trading Monday as markets in Singapore, India, Malaysia, and New Zealand were closed for holidays. European stocks retreated from multi-month highs. The German DAX index rose 0.07%, while the French CAC 40 declined 0.03% and FTSE 100 dropped 0.13%. U.S. stocks were, however, a bit higher in a week that will feature a high number of U.S. earnings. In Asia, Chinese markets bounced in early trading, while markets in Japan and South Korea also jumped.
That is a wrap on this edition of Business Express. I would like to inform you that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us on Twitter, and the handle is at NTA News Now. The hashtag is BizX. Business Express returns on Wednesday. I am Benny Adams saying, keep thinking and doing business.